Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today the Phoenix Suns officially played game number 1 of the 2K26 NBA Summer League, and honestly they really impressed me. I don't know about you guys can go comment down below what your thoughts were, but we're gonna get into some of the stats today, how the guys performed, and kind of my takeaways. But yeah, make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and without further ado, let's get into the content. The Phoenix Suns today absolutely killed it though, beating the Wizards by 20 plus points. We had a lot of really good performances here. I have some stats written down that we're going to go over, kind of break down some of their games. Kobe Bryant, 19 points, 70% from the field, 4 or 5 from 3. This was a guy that, I think is kind of overlooked, but, he had 2 ACL injuries in his, his collegiate career. But I'm excited about this kid, man. I've said some crazy things on Twitter saying he's going to be the next Devin Booker. That's still very possible too. He shows a lot of great intangibles. The catch and shoot game is going to be very efficient for the Suns. If the Suns do decide to offload Grayson Allen, I think you got to sign Kobe Bryant to a guaranteed contract, especially after this game. I know it's only game 1 and 2 of the Summer League, so there's going to be a lot of overreactions, especially around some kind of iffy performances, which Common Mohawk was a topic of discussion on Suns Twitter, but I don't think there's a lot to worry about, and I'll get into that later in this video. But yeah, man, really, I'm gonna tip my hat to Kobe Bryant tonight. He's definitely the player of this game for game 1 of the Suns Summer League. Came in there, 41st overall pick in this year's draft. The Suns traded up. They went and got the guy that they wanted. I heard Tyrese Proctor was one of the guys that they wanted that pick 41, but they went instead got one of the best 3-point shooters, if not the best 3-point shooter in college over the past 3 seasons with Kobe Bryant. And I talked to a lot of Kentucky basketball fans, and he's going to be really great for the Phoenix Suns. I've said some crazy things saying he's going to be the next Devin Booker, etc. I'm not going to limit his ceiling, In today's NBA, we've seen some crazy things. I mean, one of the best players in this league is, a 2-time MVP in Nikola Jokic, but, he does have some crazy physical attributes in terms of height and everything. But, yeah, man, Kobe Bryant was absolutely incredible. I hope the Suns do get him a guaranteed contract, because I think he will benefit playing within this, Suns offense for sure. He's going to get a lot of open looks. And especially as a 41st pick, he's not going to be on a lot of scouting reports for NBA teams. But if this guy gets enough minutes and enough reps, he definitely could be one of those guys. I know his 3-point ability is really talked about, a lot amongst people. But I feel like his 3-level scoring was really shown tonight. He was getting to the rim. He had a nice and one. At one point in the game, I think he was 4 for 4 going into the half. So that was awesome to see. But yeah, very efficient, 7 to 10 from the field, 70% from the field, 4 or 5 from 3. Kid absolutely has it. Seriously, he has the intangibles. He just has everything to be a great pro. And like I said, man, you can never go around with a Kentucky guard. It's just one of those things. Look at the MVP this current season, or I guess this past season, that just won an NBA championship, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I'm not setting expectations that high for Kobe Bryant, but I'm not going to pump the brakes on this kid, because, he's going to be able to do some great things along some high-level NBA talent. And once again, shout out Kobe Bryant. I'm very excited to see what he can flourish into, and just kind of, build himself into be, because I think he's going to be one of those guys, man. And, we had some returning dudes come back for the Summer League this year in Ryan Dunn and Osu Ighodaro. Two things I've noticed that stood out before I even saw them, play a second this game. Those dudes got freaking jacked, bro. Those guys were in the gym this whole summer, and I believe those two were working out pretty much with each other all summer too. But yeah, Ryan Dunn had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, while shooting 7 to 12 from the field and 2-5 from 3. Just a couple takeaways that I noticed about Ryan Dunn's game. Ball handling got way better. His ability to play back to the basket. He had a nice little fadeaway tonight. 100 times better. And like I said, I think Ryan Dunn's going to take a leap this year. I think that's just kind of a given. And, I think there's kind of a discussion to be held of whether Ryan Dunn's going to be the starter or Dillon Brooks. I'm not really sure what that's going to look like for the Phoenix Suns. But, I think Ryan Dunn is very deserving of that position. But if they do give it to Dillon Brooks, I'm not mad at that either. It gives Ryan Dunn, a little less pressure, and it gives them a little bit more time because, you know, the Suns don't have championship expectations this year. But, you know, at the same time, I'd like Ryan Dunn to have a little bit more of a role and kind of just see what he can do. But yeah, incredible. His ball handling was great. His ability to his knack for scoring got a little bit better. Actually, not a little bit better, tons better compared to when he first came into the league, and just compared like to where he was at the end of the last season, he really got good, and I think he's gonna shock a lot of people this year. So yeah, shout out to Ryan Dunn, man. Seriously, one of my favorite players on the Phoenix Suns, and probably one of my favorite players in the league. And then also Iguodala had a double tonight with 11 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 steals. I didn't look at the box score like total and how many steals the Suns had, but I'm sure it's a lot. And if I do, I might just put up a screenshot on the screen here of what the total steals were. But that was a common thing I noticed. The Suns defense in the summer league game was absolutely incredible. And I think it's just one of those things that you're going to have to pay attention to. And that's kind of one of the focuses with this team, is they're going to be a fast-paced defensive team. And that's just kind of, you know, when you're looking at the draft, you're looking at the guys they got this past, you know, this offseason so far. They fit that whole trajectory. So 100% Ryan Dunn and also Iguodala played absolutely amazing. Like I said, also had a double-double, 3 steals, 4 or 5 from the field, didn't shoot any threes. But one thing that I think was interesting, Oso played more of like a point forward role. It looks like they're going to use him more at the power forward position opposed to the center position, which I think is more beneficial for Oso. Oso was really handling the ball a lot, you know, just commanding the offensive play, and he really looked great, man. He had a nice dunk, a nice little left-handed jam on Alex Sarr, where he just kind of blew past him. But overall, man, like I said, his ball handling is 100 times better than last season. And I thought Oso was really good last season too. And, you know, just another one of those second-round picks that, you know, the Suns got. And the Suns have really hit their picks, man. Seriously. Shout out to Brian Gregory. But, yeah. Now we're going to get into, you know, a rookie that, you know, the 10th overall pick in this year's draft. A lot of people on Suns Twitter have kind of been knocking this guy. Mainly because, you know, they expected this dude to have probably 14 points, 15 rebounds tonight. And that is Kaman Maluak. And I'm just going to throw this out here. Kaman Maluak, with the guard play that the Suns are going to have in Summer League, is not going to be that effective. We're not going to see what Kaman Maluak truly is until probably like when he plays an official NBA game. When he's out there playing with Devin Booker and Jalen Green, some guards that can play make, Congo Gillespie, you know, stuff like that. You know, he's playing, the guards are giving him the ball at the 3-point arc, and he's backing all the way down into the post, and it's just not a good, the ball control there for Kaman is something that's still very raw, and a lot of his game is still very raw, and that's fine. It's going to be kind of like a Joel Embiid type situation. You know, Joel Embiid was a very raw prospect, and, you know, he won MVP, so I think that's going to be kind of the same situation. But one thing that I did notice about Kaman was, even if the shots weren't falling tonight, he was still letting it fly with confidence, and he wasn't hesitating. Like I said, what I mean by that, he shot 6 3-point attempts tonight. He made one of those, which was like at the last minute of the game after he had like a nice little poster dunk tonight. But yeah, 5 or 13 from the field. I mean, not too bad, but like I said, not scared to put the ball up and, you know, go attack tonight, which is something I was very excited to see from Kaman Maluak. But yeah, the confidence is there. He was very vocal tonight. I know a lot of the media guys that attended tonight's game in Vegas were really saying that they heard Kaman, you know, 18 years old, being one of the most vocal guys on the court, which is very important. So the chemistry and leadership is definitely going to be there for Phoenix this year. And I think that alone is going to be a big difference compared to the past 2 seasons. And that's a whole nother rant and video that I can make, but I'm not going to touch on that too much tonight. This is about the Summer League dudes, and this is their night, man, because they absolutely freaking killed it. Now, another guy that really is going to be someone interesting to watch in this year's Summer League, and that's Mr. Boogie Bomb Ellis. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 50% from the field, 4 or 6 from 3. Boogie played really good, and those 3-point attempts were pretty deep, man. They were some deep 3-point shots. Same from Kobe Bryant as well, but I think Boogie Ellis, you know, I wanted him on the Suns Summer League roster really bad last offseason. And I believe he had a pre-draft workout with the Suns last year as well. So seeing him finally get in the Suns Summer League roster it's pretty cool. And he went out there and took full advantage of his opportunity. And he was absolutely dicing up the defense. And just, he has a killer stroke from deep. So shout out to Mr. Boogie Bomb Ellis. And the last guy I really want to touch on is Yuri Collins. He was the starting point guard tonight for the Phoenix Suns, had 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting 57% from the field. Yuri is I'm going to be honest, I don't really know much about his game, but I learned a lot about it. He's a very good mid-range shooter. Just kind of how he attacks in that mid-range is really effective. A couple things that I feel like he could probably be better at is probably taking the screens. I know a lot of people on Twitter were saying that as well, that it kind of felt like there was a certain point guard out there which was kind of dodging screens and just kind of not using them, but he really did kill it, and I'm excited for Yuri Collins. But yeah, man, this is going to be a fun summer league, and I think the Suns could potentially win it all in summer league this year. You know, it depends on if Ryan and Oso get shut down earlier, if they're going to play on. It just kind of depends. But they definitely have a squad that can do that. But yeah, player of the night was definitely Kobe Bryant, 41st overall pick in this draft. 19 points, 70% from the field, 4 or 5 from 3. Like I said, this is a guy I'm very high on. You know, these Kentucky guards are going to be really good, and they're always going to be good. And I'm sure a few of those Arkansas guards are going to be coming up in the draft, and they're going to be doing the same thing as well. But yeah, man, this is gonna be a fun summer league, and this is just a short little preview. Like I said, I'm sure we're gonna see a couple performances from some of these guys in the summer league games. That's just how summer league goes. You can't really judge a lot of things stat wise from guys in the summer league, but you can just kind of judge how they are in the court in terms of navigating the space, their playmaking, you know, just the intangible stuff when it comes to the game of basketball. But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching this. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to drop a like, turn on post notifications, because like I said, in almost every video I record, this is going to be a very fun off season and fun season to come. So you don't want to miss out on any of this content, and you know, hit that sub button. I'd really appreciate it. I really want to hit 1,000 subscribers soon. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.